Welcome to A Court of Fairies and Fangirls. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sarah.
And this is a Sarah J. Maas fan podcast where we are obsessed with her books and can't stop thinking about it or talking about it. So we figured, why not record us thinking and talking about it? So
we're going to break down chapters, go through each book separately, go into character analysis and any thoughts or kind of theories that we have about books, characters, plots, etc.
And maybe play some fun games along the way.
Exactly.
So welcome and enjoy. This is a mini-sode.
Yes. Welcome to our mini-sode full of spoilers. Spoilers.
Spoilers. If you have not read up through
A Court of Silver Flames.
Yes, A Court of Silver Flames, stop listening. Come back to this later.
Or listen and just be spoiled.
That's true. This is a free country.
Yep.
If you're in America. I don't know. Okay, so what I was going to say is in the reading we just did, Rhysand says all of the High Lords can transform into a creature.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think all those other creatures are?
That's such a good question.
Right? Because I feel like we haven't experienced it at all. Or have I just not paid attention to it?
No, I was wondering that because when I read that sentence, I was like, wait, reread, what?
Yeah, okay, so we know Tamlin is wolf-like creature.
Right.
Rhys is a bat.
Right. Or has his, like, Illyrian wings, whatever.
Right, but he has the talent. He's a bat.
Right.
He's a bat.
But I was like, in no of the other books does any other High Lord talk about being transformed.
I don't think so.
No.
Unless we just, like, grazed over it and didn't...
I don't know, but I feel like I would have noticed if somebody else... Because they specifically say that, like, Tamlin gave his shape-shifting power to Feyre. So I was like, he's the one that shape-shifts. And I was like...
Well, he has, like, exceptional shape-shifting power.
Right. And I just assumed Rhys's was kind of, like... Because he was part Illyrian, that he had, like, the wings already. So that it was kind of... I don't know, like, kind of weird, but I didn't think...
It's all the High Lords.
All right, he says all the High Lords, so, yeah, this is interesting. I want to go through all of them.
I know. Okay, so today's mini-sode, we were going to sort the main characters from ACOTAR into Hogwarts houses, because why not?
Why not?
Let's have all of the best fantasy series kind of, like, crossover. And plus, I love a personality test.
I know.
But maybe before we do that, let's go through the courts and see, like, take a quick guess at the different animals.
So Summer... I don't know why, but I feel like I want to start with Summer because it's just in my head since we were talking about Summer at the end of the last
Okay,
episode.
I have one in my head. What do you have in your head?
I have a seahorse
in
my head. I don't know why, but I feel like because they talk about like Summer is like all the water stuff. Yeah. And I just feel a seahorse.
Shark came to my mind.
Okay. We're thinking water.
We thought water, but shark feels like really like fierce and badass.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe the High Lord's a shark. I don't know.
I can go with that.
A seahorse would just be really sweet.
Yeah. But they're like, the males are like aggressive. I mean, they're the ones that have like the babies. They're just very interesting creatures.
That's true. Okay, so that's Summer. Winter. Okay, do you have a creature in mind? Just like first thought.
I mean, polar bear. Just especially because they have the polar bears already there.
I had that in my brain too.
Yep.
So we have spring, winter, summer, autumn. Foxes?
Foxes, yeah, I could see that.
That's probably why they call them like
the foxes.
Like the foxes, like little foxes. That would make sense.
So that's all four season courts.
Yep.
And then
night is bat.
Right.
So then we just have dawn and day.
Yeah. So
what would those creatures be?
I feel like day.
I have an idea for day. I can't tell you why. This was just what first came to my mind. Like a horse.
Okay.
Like horse type vibes. I don't know why.
Okay.
Some kind of like stallion. I don't know.
I can go with that.
That was the first thing that came to my mind.
I was thinking that, or I was thinking like lion.
Ooh, I like that.
I don't know why.
No, I like lion. I think that's a good day.
Yeah.
I like that one better.
Even though they sleep all day. Whatever.
No, but that it's like their face reminds me of like the sun.
Right. I just feel like
which is reminiscent of day.
And then dawn.
I feel like it has to be some kind of bird.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely a bird. Maybe like an eagle or like a hawk.
Maybe a hawk. I don't know. It's some kind of bird, I feel like.
Yeah, I could see a bird.
Okay. That was a fun little side tangent.
I know, I did really like that.
But like, what? What are they?
I don't know.
I want to see it come into play later.
Also, we have a guest star again. We have Bruce, the puppy, who's hanging out with us. So if you hear little puppy sneezes, that's why. We apologize. He just loves to be near the microphones.
He does. So. He's a star. He wants to be heard.
So anyways.
Okay. So let's Hogwarts House Sword, the same characters we fan casted. So like the main ones from this book.
Okay, and we can go same order. So we can do Sisters first, then Springcourt, then Amarantha and Reese.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so Farrah first. I feel like I have to go Gryffindor with Farrah.
See, I think you're partial to Gryffindor because you're a Gryffindor.
No, see, I think she's the dumb kind of Gryffindor. I think she's the one that's just all like, go, 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 adventure, bold, I'm brave, I'm going to do everything.
Yep.
And not any intelligence.
Okay. I'm going to counter.
Okay.
And say, I think she's a Hufflepuff.
Oh, I see that.
All she's about.
Yes, loyalty. Yeah.
Right? Just fair. Like
True.
That very much is her. What I think is happening here, and what we see in Farrah at the beginning especially, and then like later in this book also, is that like honey badger nature. Like, you know how they joke about it's like the way that a honey badger is it's like super cool, calm, and collected, but it's so fierce when it's like under like attack or like it's trying to protect its family. So I think what we have is a Hufflepuff for Farrah.
I agree. Now that you say that, I forget that their key is like loyalty.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what she is. I was just picturing her being so courageous and just dumb.
Yeah. Well,
but
I'm also
I think
thinking about when she's talking to like the queens in book 2.
Right.
And it's all about like, what do you mean you're not going to save the human people?
Right.
Like there's this idea of like what's fair and just to her that really, I think, consciously drives her.
Yeah, no, I agree. And especially when I think of, you know, like Cedric Diggory was a Hufflepuff. It's like they are brave, they are bold and like willing to do stuff. So yes, I'm on board with Hufflepuff for Farrah.
And as a Hufflepuff, I firmly believe that Hufflepuffs are more than just the people that like to eat food and play with plants. You know what I mean?
They definitely are, for sure.
So I get strong Hufflepuff vibes from Farrah.
I agree. Now that you say that, I always forget like everything.
Should we do like a quick refresher on key characteristics?
Let's refresh.
Okay, we got Hufflepuffs, just, fair, loyal. We've got Gryffindors, who are brave.
Right.
And I don't know, what other characteristics are there? I really like Hufflepuffs as one. You tell me, Gryffindor. What are other Gryffindor characteristics? Adventurous.
Courageous. I feel like loyal too. Like
there's a sense of they're more bold.
Yeah.
Ravenclaws, which are like intelligent and witty, and then Slytherins, who are more like cunning and clever and that kind of thing. Okay, so Farrah, Hufflepuff. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Which one do you do next, Elaine or Nesta?
You do Nesta.
Nesta.
Doesn't matter.
I have one in my brain. What do you think?
Okay, Nesta. I'm gonna go with. I don't know. Who do you have?
I think Slytherin.
Okay, that's what I was like leaning towards.
Yeah.
But also,
I also believe.
I don't know if she is
decent Slytherin.
No, I do. I totally believe in decent Slytherins. I don't know if I see her as cunning. Like when I think
she has what we see in her is the more manipulative side of Slytherin, right? I think especially at the beginning of this series, in like the first 2 books, even into the 3rd book, because she's just had like terrible time, in these first 3 books. I think you're seeing the manipulative.
And see, that's why I was trying not to say.
Which is like a toxic Slytherin.
That's why I wanted to not say Slytherin, because I feel like she was playing into the bad guy, which I was like, I don't want to just make people think that I think Slytherins are all bad. Because I know they're not. And it's like, people know how much I don't like Nesta after listening to so much of this. So I was like, I don't want to be like, oh, I don't like Slytherins. But I do like Slytherins. I do think Slytherins can be good. And
I'm married to a Slytherin.
Right, exactly. So like, I like Slytherins. So I didn't want to say Slytherin right off the bat. I feel like you make it sound a lot nicer.
No, but I think what we're seeing is manipulative side of Slytherin at the beginning, and then in Silver Flames, I think she is really like, because it's not like the cunning nature isn't just in a manipulative way. Like you see her creating this group to help the women, the other priestess. Like you see her pulling this community together, which I think is the more like positive side of a Slytherin, you know?
Yeah.
And she's very smart.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got a quick mouth, which I think is...
Definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Another sign of a Slytherin.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. And then we've got Elaine.
Which...
Does Elaine even fit a category? Like,
I think she's the classic Hufflepuff.
That's what I thought she was. But I was like, it's so interesting because, like, now thinking that Feyre's a Hufflepuff, I'm like, how are you guys the same house? Like, it's crazy, right?
I have been exploring my Hufflepuffness over the last, like, 6 months because we're still kind of in a pandemic and I go through an identity crisis sometimes. It's fine. But I think with Hufflepuffs especially, in all houses, I definitely feel like there's, like, a spectrum. I only know this because I have nerdy friends, not because I play this game, not that there's anything wrong to play this game, but in D&D, there's like these, like 3x3, like charts.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you have, oh gosh, I'm bringing these up, but I don't know them super well. But it's essentially, it creates like a matrix, right? Where it's like the combination of these 3 characteristics on the top and these 3 on the left creates a matrix of how, like, the different sides of it. Like, the good versus bad, the chaotic versus, like, neutral. But anyway, these charts, like, create the picture of all of the things this could be. And I think it's just a matter of, like, what is that person leaning into at that moment. So it's like, I think Feyre and Elaine can both be Hufflepuffs. But I think they can be different types of Hufflepuffs.
I feel like one's like top left corner, one's bottom right corner.
Yes,
like
very
totally
different
opposites. Yeah.
Yes. And it's the same thing also with like Enneagrams, right? There's
those
subtypes where it's like you can be whatever number you are, but there's 3 subtypes and they can be drastically different.
Right, absolutely.
In how it manifests.
Yeah.
So
I just have a hard time thinking of totally different people being grouped in the same thing when you know what I mean, because like initially I was like, yeah, Feyre Gryffindor because she's just like out there and courageous, but I was like, no, if she is a Hufflepuff, like especially like when you describe it, so I'm like, how can Elaine be in the same house? But she definitely is. She doesn't fit any other category,
which, and also Hufflepuff said he would take all the rest too.
He
so
would.
Sometimes
you just all the rest.
You're just all the rest. But I'm intrigued to see what more we learn about Elaine in the next book and see if that like shifts our opinion on her.
I think if anything, she may transform into like a Ravenclaw, where she's just very knowledgeable, especially like with the cauldron and everything like that. So like I could see that like shift.
Lots of wisdom involved
if she was to like go another direction. But like we don't know enough about her. So like right now, Hufflepuff for sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. What were the other characters? Okay, Tamlin. You do Tamlin next?
Yeah. So I think Tamlin is Gryffindor.
I would think so too.
Yeah.
Because I also think Gryffindors are stubborn.
Yes. Oh, for sure. For sure. And that's definitely Tamlin.
Yeah.
But he's, you know, I just feel like
he's very adventurous, brave. He's also very much an idealist, which I think is another characteristic
it definitely
of Gryffindors.
Is.
So.
Yeah. I feel like he's an easy fit.
Yeah. I definitely think so too.
Yeah.
Okay, Lucian.
Lucian's an interesting one to me. I think to me, he's a Ravenclaw.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think he's like that line between Ravenclaw and Gryffindor.
Yeah. Because like, Gryffindor was my first thought.
So I think he's like the Hermione almost. Like where it's like he's super clever and smart, but he like I don't think he acts as much on the Gryffindor side as he does on like the clever, witty side.
Yeah.
So
because he didn't see through Feyre's shit when she was a spy, at all. He was like, "I'm on to you."
Yeah, and granted, like he does like step out and he risks his life, but like
he's still brave.
He's still brave, but like so I think he borders that line where like Hermione went Gryffindor, like he went Ravenclaw.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm on board for that.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
I love that.
Let's throw somebody in Ravenclaw.
Yeah, let's throw Ravenclaw bone. No, but I see what you're saying. Like, he's definitely, like, he has more going on in his head than he lets others necessarily, like, see.
Yeah.
Which I think is what we might consider as, like, a Gryffindor tendencies might be, like, a safety coping mechanism from his like childhood with his extremely toxic family.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe that's what that manifestation is. It's like he's very witty and smart, but he has a hard time like outwardly showing it all the time because of
his trauma,
protecting himself as a young.
Yeah. And I just see him like thinking through everything like with like being Elaine's mate, like how he treats her, how he like thinks about how to like act around her, like I just think he's much...
It's true. He's very measured and patient.
Right.
Which a Gryffindor would not be.
No, I don't think so. So, as one myself, I don't think so. Yeah, so I think Ravenclaw for him.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we've got Amarantha. She's hard.
She is hard.
Can we skip her? Can we do last and we'll do Reese next? Because I feel like Reese is kind of obvious. Or at least to me, he's...
Is he?
I think so.
What do you think Reese is?
I think he's Slytherin.
Yeah?
I think he is so cunning, so sly, but he's so brave, like, and bold in his decisions.
Yeah.
But I think he's the best Slytherin.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
He is the best version
like,
of Slytherin.
I want him, obviously, to be a Gryffindor with me, but I think he's way too smart for that.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Or way too cunning.
He is so clever.
Yeah.
Like, so clever.
Like, everything is calculated. Everything is well thought through.
Yep.
And he can be evil, too. Like, he
can turn it on.
Yeah.
But when he does, it's for the love of his people, which I think people really discount in Slytherins, like, their own... like, Hufflepuffs get the loyalty brand, but, like, Slytherins would do anything for their people.
Right.
So, which he clearly
does.
Suffers
for 50 years under the mountain for his people.
What a saint. He's a Slytherin saint.
I know. He really is. So.
Okay, yeah. No, I agree. That one's more obvious. Now that we verbalized it, I'm like, yeah, that one's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. But Amarantha. So.
Like, you naturally want to say Slytherin because he's evil.
And that's the thing. It's like, I always try to not put people in Slytherin because I don't want to assume evil.
Right.
Because Slytherin's not evil, because I just put Reese, the greatest character of all time, into Slytherin.
Exactly.
So, clearly not evil.
Right.
But she is evil.
Right. It's the same thing where it's like, okay, let's picture, like, this, like, spectrum, like, matrix for each of the houses. Like, what's the worst version
of all of them?
Of each house. Like, what's the worst version?
So, I mean, I think... At least for Gryffindor, she's very bold in her actions. Like, she doesn't... Like, I think about when she took Jurian and she screwed over Hybern.
Right.
Like, she basically, like, had him lose the war because she was so determined to get, like, her revenge on Jurian.
Right. Stole Hybern's, like, spell book.
Right.
Which is a very bold move.
Right. So she's very, like, bold and, like, decisive of her actions, and that's it. She's very stubborn in what she wants and how she's going to do things. So I think those are, like... Those are Gryffindor qualities, but the negative side of them.
Yes. But also, why did she do that?
Right.
Because of her sister and her love for her sister and being so mad how Jurian manipulated her sister and it was punishment for Jurian, which makes me think, is this the worst version of a Hufflepuff?
Right, like the most overly loyal person you could be.
Who's so obsessed with being just and fair and right that... She does that to Jurian. She feels like it's her right to take over Prythian, all of those things. Is she the worst version of a Ravenclaw?
Right.
Because she's really smart.
So smart. She's invaded all the courts.
She tricked every High Lord
into giving her their power. Yeah, which is brilliant.
Right.
Or is she Slytherin because she is pure evil and cunning and manipulative. I was like, she is... the hardest one to pin because she is all encompassing.
Yes. The worst characteristics of each house.
All of them.
She manages to have. It's just what is it the most?
What's her biggest thing?
The biggest thing. Is it manipulation? Is it cleverness? Is it stubborn, bulldogged, eyes blind bravery kind of thing? Or is it obsessed with getting justice for her sister and the loyalty there?
I don't think Ravenclaw. I think of all four of them, that's what I would cross off the first.
Knock off Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
I can't decide.
I don't know.
She's so manipulative.
Which,
again, I'm not just trying to say Slytherin, but it's making me lean towards Slytherin.
I know. I honestly, like, I think I would get rid of Hufflepuff, too. Like, honestly, I think it's between Gryffindor and Slytherin. And I think it's so hard because she's so blinded by her, like, thought process that she becomes dumb. Like, she gave her the riddle as a way out.
That's
like,
true.
she just... I think she gets so in her head and is so, oh, I'm going to win, that she just ignores everything else.
Right. And who would do that? A Gryffindor or a Slytherin? I feel like a Gryffindor.
I feel like a Gryffindor. We're so stubborn and we're so under the assumption that we're going to win and we're right. Mm-hmm. I think she's a Gryffindor. Whoa. That's horrible. That weird? That's the weirdest thing to say.
I know. Yeah. That is weird, but I think you might be right.
She straddles that line for sure of like all. Yeah. But I pick Gryffindor for
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah.
Because you're right. She does get kind of dumb towards the end because, or makes dumb decisions.
Right.
Because of being like blinded to certain things.
Yeah.
Which, as in, like, if a Gryffindor is like such an idealist, I can see happening to them.
Yeah, just blinded by their ideals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That was not what I expected as my answers for a lot of those. But that was very interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's summarize. So, Hufflepuffs, we have Feyre and Elaine.
Yep.
Ravenclaws, we have Lucian. Gryffindors, we have Tamlin and Amarantha. And Slytherins, we have Reese and Nesta.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good distribution.
It very is.
That was nice how we did that. Or nice how Sarah did that.
Yeah.
Sarah J. Maas, not you, Sarah.
Yeah.
That's Sarah. Queen Sarah.
Yeah.
No offense, but
no, it's okay. I think it's good though. I think you need a mixture of all characters though to really give
that's why this is so good.
It probably is because it gives you the full spectrum of all emotions, all thought processes. Everybody can relate to somebody kind of thing.
Oh, that's so true. That's so good. But that's it. We mentioned this in our main episode this week, but next week is the last week of this season.
Yes.
So make sure you tune in. We're so proud of ourselves.
I know, but yeah, week 10, episode 10, it's our big finale.
Yes,
so.
And then we're going to be back. We're going to do next season Mist and Fury. Like, this does not stop.
No.
But we're going to finish ACOTAR. So enjoy the ride, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to A Court of Fairies and Fangirls, a Sarah J. Maas fan podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe. And let us know what you think. Jump in on the conversation. We look forward to chatting with you more next week. Bye-bye.